This really depends on the project. For me, whenever I get like a draw over that is just like absolutely epic, and it's like, I want my shot to look like that. That's what I want. I will fight to get the rig to do what I want, if possible. If I have to break the rig, if I have to twist the rig in some way to get that to happen, I'll try to do it. And as long as it looks good from the camera angle, that's fine. Actually, I have an example of that. Let me go through here. So this was a rig test I was doing, just looking at some different rigs and doing some tests. And when I do tests, I like to, where is it here? Do I not have it? There it is. I like to do some posing tests, full body posing, facial posing, just to see how far I can push something without it breaking. So let's open up the scene here and share my screen. So this is the Tammy rig. So we can see it here. And this rig is really nice. I was just playing around with it a little bit, and I wanted to do some testing. So I just found some images online, either 2D or like reference images. And my goal is, can I replicate those images? Can I push my character to have the same appeal and interest as what I see there? So let's just select one of these controls here so I can frame through. So here I was just trying to push the bend bows of the arm and the legs. So really trying to push the asymmetry of the pose, the contrapposto. How can I push the spine, the hips, all of that, the legs. This one here, how can I try to push the character? Like, how low can I push this character before their hips explode? How can I get the arms to work correctly? All of that stuff. Doing some pose tests. How far can I push the mouth corners? How big can I make the eyes? So this one especially, like, how can I push those lip shapes? All of that good stuff. Once again, how far can I push these poses? So really all it is trying to push things as far as I can. This is not an AM rig. So yeah, there you go. See, A to the J, already way ahead of me. So it is a free rig if anyone wants to try it out. And overall, it's really cool and it works really well. So as I was posing this, it was just trying to capture those elements. And these poses, these were quick poses, mostly just trying to see what I need to do to get this to work. How far can I push this? Now, the key here is kind of what we were going back to before. It's okay to break your poses as long as it looks good on camera. So, for example, let's look at our character here and right there. So if we look at this pose, for example, from the camera angle, it looks pretty good. But if we look at it from the side, you'll notice that her arm here is actually about twice as long as, or maybe not twice, like 1.5 times longer than it should be. If you look at this side here, compared to this one, that's too long. I just snapped the elbow to the knee and just pushed that elbow as far as I could to get it to look good from camera right there and to have it connect. If I didn't do this, the elbow would be actually around here. Her hair bun, this is a good example. The default position of the hair bun is not there. If you look at every pose that I've done, I move that hair bun so that it works well in silhouette each time, even here. Let's see. On this pose, once again, if you look at the leg, by default, this is not the leg position. If I reset the leg back to where it was, you would get this. The leg is intersecting, broken right through itself, it doesn't feel natural at all. So I just bent the leg in order to get it to look correct. I even pushed the hip. I believe it's this control here. Yeah. I moved the hip around because I wasn't getting the pinch I wanted right there. And it was just kind of getting a weird shape. So I just pushed that in so I can get that really nice like movement in there. And that nice visual contrast and negative space in there. You can't do that with your hip. That would break your hip if you did that in real life. If you actually look at her hips from this angle here, you'll notice that the geometry just implodes right there on the hips. But it looks good from camera. A good example is, you'll notice I didn't even pose the body here. I was just focusing on the face. This pose, really nice dynamic line. If you look at it from the side view, her knee is broken, her ankle is broken, her hips are just a mess. Her arm is snapped back. It's just a nightmare. It's terrible. But I get the shape that I wanted. So for example, at this angle, technically what should happen is the clavicle would need to go back here. But when I do that, I miss that overlapping of the shape of the shoulder over the head right there. Now, is that better or worse? It doesn't. It's just a matter of taste in this moment. But for me, I wanted that overlapping form. How her head is behind her body, how her body's behind her hips, all of that. Her knee, her knee is literally snapped back. And not just that, I've rotated multiple axes so that I could get this nice straight line right here. If I reset that knee back to where it should be, we're going to get that, which is not bad, but it's not as dynamic as this, how you feel that kind of extra motion in there. And especially with the foot, you can see how the ankle looks kind of boring. The foot is the same thing. If I just reset this back to where it was, that's where it should be. So I've actually broken the ankle and twisted it and then pushed it further. The foot scale is actually bigger than it should be. The foot should only be that size. I made it bigger just to make it more impactful. So yes, animate to camera. You can see the mouth here. Like, look at the mouth. It's just broken. You can see the gums sticking out through there. It's just awful. But hey, I get to see it on camera right over there. And this goes with any of the facial expressions. Let's see how bad this one is. Like, from this angle here, you'll notice that her teeth are crooked. They've been rotated back. These teeth have been pushed down into her jaw. Overall, this one's not too bad though. Let's add textures in here. Yeah, you can see that mouth corner is a little too far out right in there. And then this side's kind of being pushed in. Same thing here. If you look at the teeth, look how crooked the teeth are. This is not their default positions. If I just reset these, this is where the teeth should be. See how they're just perfectly straight? This is something I always look for in teeth. That middle line right there. Middle of the top two teeth, bottom of the middle of the top, or middle of the top two teeth, middle of the bottom two teeth right there. See how they just line up and it creates this grid right there? Try to push that. So now we get this, they kind of meet up in this point, but we get that angle change right in there. If I really wanted to polish this, what I would also do is just push this to the side here. So now we have that little offset right there. So yeah, to answer your questions, again, push your poses to work well with your camera. At the beginning, it is good to pay attention to anatomy and make sure you're not breaking things for no reason. But whatever works best for your shot is gonna make it more dynamic.